host. I'm most known for the voice behind Raine Whispers on Disney's hit animated series, The Owl House. I wanted to actually share something that I had the honor and privilege to be a keynote speaker for a middle school in New Jersey. And this was in 2021 for a diversity and inclusion summit. And I had wrote this speech and I thought it fitting to share this with you all. So here we go. I'm going to start off with a quote that a friend of mine recently shared with me about belonging. True belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. Brené Brown. When I was born, I was assigned female at birth. Going through old photo albums, it is clear that my parents welcomed a baby girl into the world and raised me accordingly. That is according to societal norms and constructs. Gender is a social construct. Baby girl meant a lot of dresses, puffs and fluffs, an aggressive washing of pink and bows. That gender marker, F, felt weird, but as a kid I didn't know how to talk about it. As I got older, I grew more opinionated, at least when it came to what I wanted to wear. Although in middle school I was at times excluded and teased for how I dressed and looked, which hurt and made me feel alone. I was called a tomboy, labeled not like the other girls, not like my mom or my sister, different. I was different. But there was this one time in middle school where I felt really happy and good about myself. Imagine, you're a sixth grader at St. Anthony Immaculate Conception Elementary School. It's a Friday, and you decide to audition for the after-school drama club's production of Much Ado About Nothing by William Shakespeare. You're waiting near the stage in the cafeteria. You look around and take note that there are no boys here, just girls. You're handed the audition material, which is from the Scottish play. Now, if you're into theater, you know there's a superstition where you don't say the actual title of this Shakespeare play because it's bad luck. But anyways, the lines were for the witches, to be exact. You scan it and instinctively know these are very specific characters. All of a sudden, something comes over you. You go up onto that stage and you transform into those witches, changing your voice and physicality. You perform the material as if this acting stuff is something you have been doing your entire life. That performance earns you a callback. You're handed these new pieces of paper with more words. This time, it's from Much Ado About Nothing, for the role of Benedict. You do not question that you are a girl and this is the male lead. You honestly really want to do it and are so excited to do it, even though you're not really able to identify any of these deeper thoughts around getting to play a gender that is not your own. Regardless, it feels like a safe place to explore. And guess what? You get cast as Benedict! Okay, it's the day of the performance in front of the entire school during assembly period. You get into costume. You grab a black eyeliner pencil and proceed to paint facial hair on your face. Because at that time, with your limited understanding, having facial hair meant you were a man. You happily get lost in the thrill of the performance, being on stage and being Benedict. All right, now it's the end of the performance. You take your bow. You are feeling great, on top of the world. But off to the side, there is a group of boys from the older grades being ushered out of the cafeteria, and all you hear as they make eye contact with you is, "Hey, good job," and "That's so funny, you look like Howie Dorough from the Backstreet Boys." They laugh. Something in you shifts, because you felt really great. But their laughter quickly feels like everything you did was invalidated or a joke, when maybe there was some monumental truth underneath you playing Benedict. When I retell the story, as painful as it felt in that moment, I also take that experience as a time in my life that marked my journey as an actor. Though that was the last play I did. Until high school. High school was messy, but it was also my time to finally return to the theater. People enjoy asking me why I chose to get into acting. My answer is doing theater allowed me to escape my real life, to be someone I wasn't, to be all kinds of characters and be an emotional athlete of sorts, exploring a multitude of emotions. Plus, it was just fun. Then there was something about being on stage and being watched. No, being seen that made me feel special, that I was important, and that I mattered. After high school came college, and throughout my college years, I continued to make decisions for everyone else but myself, although I was slowly finding the courage to be myself. The truth is, when I look back on all those years, I can confidently say that I lived the majority of my life staying silent, hiding my truth, conforming because ultimately I just wanted to belong. But in the long run, that was doing more harm than good. It was easy to turn on this bright, energetic persona when deep within I felt like I was carrying a lot. Which leads me to reflect on what I had in my life to help me keep going. I had love and support. I had friends who liked me for me, be it one or two people. I had activities and a community, like art and theater communities, that helped me process a lot. I had teachers and mentors who cared, taking me under their wings, accepting me, my gifts, skills, and talents. I had a family who may have not always understood what I was going through, but never gave up or turned their backs on me. Look, I still experienced a lot of trauma, but also held and hold a lot of privilege. And for that, I am very fortunate. Having an attitude of gratitude is so valuable. I could have easily woke up as a young person and just made the choice to not deal with anything anymore, because I certainly didn't have any role models growing up whom I felt were reflections of me, and so that felt isolating. The representation or celebration of being queer, trans, or non-binary was non-existent. So after college, I moved to Chicago. And literally all it took were two human beings, real people, who were out and visible as trans non-binary using they them pronouns for me to revisit my own gender identity. After all those years, I thought, wait, there are other options? It's not just two? I began to piece together and connect the dots. I learned and educated myself, but also had the chance to tour as an actor with an LGBTQIA+ theater company doing educational outreach. My awareness of gender and sexuality, which are two different things, expanded exponentially. I finally had tools, resources, and language to help me. I still had my art too that continued to help me because art changes everything. Art is cathartic. Anything creative saved me. Art can take many shapes and forms, bringing people together and definitely serving as a vehicle for activism. Because art is expression. Art can tell a story, share a message, even help others to see things or even yourself a little differently. On a bigger global scale, I know there is still so much work to do to dismantle and decolonize our minds. Yet when it comes to language, it is so beautiful that language can evolve. I believe it is time to start accepting the bazillions of ways to be. One way to do that is making an effort to use inclusive language. Instead of, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can use, hello, everyone. Hello, students. Hello, friends. For me, when I hear phrases like those, it makes me feel like I belong. What also matters is more diverse media representation of underrepresented or marginalized groups of people. Having something to turn to that you can relate to is the best thing ever. What matters even more is having spaces that know how crucial it is to be open and understanding, acknowledging that a variety of people exist. There's a word that comes to mind: community. Community found and chosen families are so vital, especially for LGBTQIA+ individuals. To be in solidarity with others and share similar experiences with, I have found, helps me with moving through my own self-doubts, worries, and frustrations. but also having a community where we can share our joys and victories, supporting each other along the way. I think in general, community is just a basic human need. This brings me to my life and career now. I made a big move to Los Angeles in January 2020. Today, I am proud to say that I am transgender, I am non binary, I am queer, I am Latine, and I am working professionally as an actor and voice artist. As you all know, my artistic journey began with stage acting, theater, then it trickled a bit into on camera work, and right now I am mainly doing work as a voice actor. And breaking into voiceovers was actually a full circle moment for me. Before transitioning, I tried to pursue voice acting in Chicago and it really didn't go anywhere, so I gave up. A few years after that, I began my medical transition, taking testosterone, and my voice started changing. I call it coming into my true, authentic voice, which coincided with getting my first voice acting job. Since getting that job, my career as a voice actor has been blooming, where I'm narrating a lot of young adult fiction novels, and most of them include trans, queer, non binary, intersex, Asian, Black, and Indigenous characters. However, the ultimate cherry on top has been being the voice behind Raine Whispers, a character in Disney's animated series The Owl House, who in fact uses they them pronouns. As a series, The Owl House does a tremendous job on showing representation and not making it a whole to do. The books I narrate by trans, queer, and non binary authors accomplish the same thing. Those stories are real and authentic, full of humor, beauty, and heart. I never envisioned myself doing voiceover work, let alone narrating audiobooks, but I am so euphoric that this work is what I am doing. I just had to be patient after planting seeds, allowing time for the seeds to grow. One of my favorite things an acting teacher once told me was, "Patience, my dear, it takes time to blossom anywhere." You know, sometimes I am still processing how meaningful so much of what I do and am doing is to people. Though I am reminded of the impact of this work and representation I provide every time someone I don't know personally, mainly young people and even some adults, reach out to me on social media. They share with me how inspired they are to see someone like me doing work like this, and it gives them hope that they can do it too. My goal is for all of us to just be human beings or characters that exist and are unchallenged in a world, real or imaginary. I'm going to wrap up here, but here are my final thoughts and a few things I would like to ask of you. Please be kind to yourself. Be gentle, because sometimes you may not have that kindness or gentleness from others. Giving love to yourself is the best thing you can do. Even if it's giving yourself a hug and saying, "I love you, I'm proud of you." You also never know what someone else may be going through. So if you can, try to practice compassion and empathy, because sometimes that can make all the difference. Finally, this is something I wish someone told me when I was younger. You and your story are unique. Own it all. There is no other you like you out there. Enjoy the process and the journey, being open to how things unfold. There are so many ways to grow into the person you are meant to be, and you will find your way and your place. Just keep going, breathe, don't give up. Telling some of my story to you today was only sharing one way of many. I know there will be hard days. There will always be hard days. But your life, your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit, your joy, your voice matters. Be true, be you. Thank you.